Well, the crypto market has had a very strong morning this morning as a result of some solid PPI data coming out just a couple hours ago. Now, as a result of this, I want to talk to you all a little bit about why this PPI data could be important, what you need to be on the lookout for, issue a little bit of a warning as a result of what we're seeing right now, and much more. And so, with that said, look, we got a lot to get into today. So, let's not waste any more time at all and let's get straight into it. Now, the information that we got this morning was that the PPI inflation data report has now come in below estimates. Now, if you don't know what that is, quite simply, it is just inflation from a producer's perspective. So, oftentimes, when you and I think about inflation, we think about it from a consumer perspective because we're the ones out there buying things, right? Well, you can also look at it from the opposite side, which is as a producer, are things costing more to produce, which is very important to get an understanding of how things are impacting our economy. Now, what we saw this morning, as I mentioned before, was that this number came in below estimates. So what we expected was that there was going to be a 0.4% increase in PPI month over month, and it actually came in at 0.2, meaning that inflation did not grow as much as analysts expected it to. Now, why is it so important? Well, the reason this is so important is because assets like crypto and the stock market rely on liquidity. Right? Liquidity simply meaning the amount of money that is available and being spent and invested in the economy, in stocks, in crypto, etc. Oftentimes, more liquidity, better performance, right? Now, when you have inflation coming down, that means that it's more likely that the Fed is going to reduce rates. When the Fed reduces rates, we see then the ability to access money become easier. Therefore, more liquidity will typically be injected into the market, oftentimes then taking things like crypto and the stock market and pushing their prices upwards. It is just in general a good thing for the economy when we are seeing what's called quantitative easing, or simply the economy being put in a better spot. There's not as much strain being forced on the economy to try to reduce things like inflation and combat some of those more negative sentiments. Now, with this said, this quite simply means, all of the technicalities aside, that this is a good sign for crypto, because although it doesn't say that the Fed for sure is going to continue to reduce rates this year, it is more likely that they do, because what they've done, the interest rates that, the raising of rates that they've done before, the constraint they've put on the economy has now started to cause things like inflation to go down from more of a macro perspective. Matter of fact, this is actually the reason why we've seen the market drop a little bit over the last month or two, is because many people were starting to get worried that inflation was climbing again. And if inflation was climbing again, that's not a good thing, because the Fed's going to say, well, we can't reduce rates right now, because if we do, it's going to make inflation climb even more. And so the market freaked out. They said, oh, snap. Well, of course, if inflation's going up, the Fed's not going to reduce rates. They may even raise rates or just hold them steady. And that's not quantitative easing. That's not injecting more liquidity into the market as most people expected they would. Therefore, people got nervous, started selling crypto, started selling stocks, and much more. So this is good information. This is very good data. Now, is this the end all be all? Absolutely not. In about 24 hours, we're going to get the CPI data. This is the consumer price index. And what this is going to tell us is that from a consumer's perspective, are we seeing inflation going up, or are we seeing it stay neutral? Or are we seeing it going down? Is it going to be in line with expectations? And so, although this is great news, I would definitely just take it with a grain of salt for now, because you still never know what's going to happen from a CPI perspective. And quite frankly, the market reacts much more heavily to CPI than PPI. So if we're getting some volatility today as a result of PPI, CPI definitely could bring some volatility as well. Ideally, what we see is a consumer price index either come in at expectations or lower. And the reason being is because you want to see inflation dropping. You want to see it going down so the Fed can reduce rates, start printing more money, injecting it into the economy, easing of some people's economic hardships, and then allowing this market to flourish, similar to what we saw in 2021 and in 2020. Now, when we actually take this over to the crypto market, keeping in mind that although this is good news, we shouldn't jump the gun too much, what we can see is that, well, the market has somewhat started to jump the gun. If we actually look at something like Bitcoin's price, you can actually see here that Bitcoin is up like crazy on the day, putting in those lows to around $89,000 roughly yesterday. We can now see this market has pushed all the way up to about 9.4 or about 8.4 to 9.4% upwards, currently sitting right around $96,000. As this has happened, we've actually started to see a lot of greed in the market. If we go out to liquidation data, for example, we go ahead and give this a quick refresh. What you can see is that so many investors just jumped the gun. So many investors just said, oh, this is it. Everything's going to go up. The bottom is in. Let's go in. And now you can see 100x and 50x long trades have been open like absolute crazy. Hundreds of millions of dollars of liquidations to the downside. Now, Tyler, what does this mean? It means that although we did see good news this morning, everybody was just sitting on the sideline, hoping that we got good news. And the first sign of good news we got, everybody just jumped in the market, opening up 100x and 50x leverage trades. Now, if you're new here, you would assume that this is a good thing. But the problem is that oftentimes the market will go in the opposite direction of what people think. So if everybody's betting the market's going to go up, you can't be too surprised when the market goes down. Matter of fact, not too recently, or not too long ago, sorry, I actually made a tweet. This was on January 11th, so about 3 days ago. And I said, during times like these, when we are at massive points of support and both the bulls and the bears are confident they are right, I start to assume they will both be wrong. Don't be surprised if we see this market make some very violent moves in both directions to hunt down these liquidations in the coming week. If you're using any form of high leverage, I truly hope you have proper risk management in place over the next 9 days. You're going to need it because at the time we saw liquidations to the bottom side and the top side. And over the last 3 days, guys, which was right here, listen, I made that tweet right here, guys. And look what happened over the next 3 days. We saw the market make a violent move downwards to liquidate all those long traders and a violent move upwards to liquidate those short traders, exactly as we were talking about in that tweet. Feel free to go follow me at Tyler Crypto Talk. And so, with that in mind, knowing that whenever you see these liquidations in either direction, you have to be a little bit cautious because, sure, yes, this PPI data does feel fantastic. And you go look at crypto bubbles and everything's up. You go look at coin market cap and you see things trending. You see freaking fart coin up 20, 30% on the day. I mean, it's good to feel good, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that you can't be jumping the gun too much. One, we still have consumer price inflation or the CPI data coming out tomorrow. We still need to see what happens there because if that comes in worse than expected, guess what? We're going to drop like a rock. It's just going to be what happens. Comes in better than expected? Yeah, maybe we continue upwards. Maybe it adds a little fuel to this upwards fire and we do continue upwards, but we just need to see how that plays out. And the second thing that you need to remember is that in this market right now, we are in what I call all the time the HMZ. HMZ is a zone in which there is high manipulation. It's called the high manipulation zone, HMZ zone. And what happens in these HMZ zones it's violent, guys. It's violent. While everyone's expecting the market to go up or the market to go down, you're going to see all of it. Pumps, dumps, fake outs, breakouts, micro pumps, liquidity hunts, everything again that could happen will happen. And so while we're still in this red box, while we're still range bound between 100,000 and 91,000, while we're seeing all of these things happen, you can't get too far ahead of yourselves. And so I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be the one who's coming in here and saying, well, look, let's not get too excited. But quite simply, you cannot get too excited right now because although there may be an opportunity we continue upwards, we're not out of the woods and it's not even close. So what am I doing right now? I'm actually not doing anything. As you all know, over in the school just yesterday, I think that was just yesterday. Let's go double check. Over in the school, what I told people is that I was doing buying on that red day. If I go up, look at this. I bought Bitcoin at 90,000, ETH at 3,000, Solana at 175. So many of these cryptos. And I mean, let's go look Bitcoin at 90.6, Ethereum at 3,000. Let's go look at how that's doing. Currently, Bitcoin at 96,000. I'm up on that purchase. If we go look at something like Ethereum, I'm up about $200 per ETH on that purchase as it is trying to recover right now. And so since I was doing some buying in this pullback that we saw over the last 24 hours, I'm not doing anything right now. I'm not buying, I'm not selling, I'm definitely not longing, and I'm definitely not shorting because quite frankly, the lizard people, they're going to look at this as food. They're going to say, oh, everybody's confident, huh? Oh, you think that this market's going to go up, huh? Watch this. And next thing you know, you see those quick violent reactions to the downside, those quick pullbacks. And if you don't think it's possible for that to happen, just go look at what's happening right here with RSI heat map. If you go to the RSI heat map on the 1 hour, look at this, guys. Look at how we're seeing the vast majority of these cryptos already nearly overbought. Things like SPX and Phil and Doge and BTC, so many of them are already getting close to the overbought zone, while so many people are jumping in and opening up these huge leverage long trades. And so although, look, there will become a time, I believe, where this market will go upwards. There will be a time where we will start to see it really push upwards, and it will just ignore all of these downside liquidations. I'm just not confident to say that that's right now. Because quite frankly, just like I told you back here, at any given point, this market's going to rip back and forth, downwards and upwards and downwards and upwards, liquidating everybody on every side. And I just don't want you to get caught up in it, okay? So the best thing to do right now, in my honest opinion, is nothing, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what's going to happen in this market, guys. I got no idea. I don't know if we're going to come to the top sign breakout. I don't know if CPI data is going to come out. We're going to get rejected to the downside. I don't know what's going to happen. And in a period like this, when we're in this HMZ, when we have a big catalyst tomorrow, such as CPI, but we still have a major catalyst like Trump's inauguration coming in a couple of days here, and Gary Gensler stepping down and much more, it's perfect season for the whales and lizard people to manipulate this market in either direction and continue to take your crypto from you. And I don't want to be a part of it. Like I said in that tweet not too long ago, look, I can go down here and read it to you. I know I said this in yesterday's video, but I just want you to remember this so deeply in your mind, that crypto is like chess, not roulette. Winning is not about making random moves for quick wins. It's about positioning yourself for long-term success. In chess, every move is intentional, setting up your future advantage. Crypto is no different. Accumulate when others are fearful, take profits when others are greedy, protect your king by managing risk, because most traders lose because they gamble instead of strategizing. And when I know that even after a day like today, where everything feels good and everything's exciting, and I bought some crypto yesterday at the bottom of this move, and I did some sizable accumulations and much more, I know that at any given point, the music can stop playing, and next thing you know, this market starts kicking granny down the stairs. And so what I'm doing right now is absolutely nothing. I want to see what happens with CPI data. I want to get some structural clarity from this, and I want to see how it all plays out, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this might, guys, there is a chance we do continue upwards. This might be the beginning of it, right? We get good PPI data, good CPI data. Gary Gensler steps down. Trump gets inaugurated. Boom. We start pushing to the upside. You look at your 4-hour Elliott's waves. Look, we did seemingly just complete what could have been the C wave to the downside, which historically could open up our now 5 wave to the upside. All these things are possible. I'm just not going to bet that they're happening yet until I get more confirmations, and we don't have those confirmations yet. So the best thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to sit back, watch, enjoy the profits that I made here from those purchases that I told you about in the school. Now, if you are someone who's interested in checking out the school, I realized that I wasn't able to show you this earlier, but I can show you it here now. Our mission in the school, guys, is very, very simple. We take crypto investors like yourselves. We give you coursing, coaches, classes, live streams, workshops, signals, research, Q&As. I mean, everything you can think of every single day, we're giving it to you served up like a platter for you to help create your strategies. You then turn those strategies into gains. And the best part about it is, guys, you get your money back if you don't learn anything, guaranteed. And it starts as little as $5 a month. And don't just take it from what I'm saying, take it from the proof. The proof is in the pudding. And if I just go in, guys, this is just since yesterday. Let me just show you this real quick. Just since yesterday, look at all of the gains that are being printed in this server. It's absolutely insane. Hundreds of percentages, hundreds of thousands of dollars are being printed in the server every single day. Guys, remember, this is just yesterday. I'm scrolling. It's just yesterday. So if you want to be a part of that, as I mentioned before, you can head to the link down below. Get your money back guaranteed if you don't learn anything, because we're that confident. And it starts as little as $5 a month. So feel free to go check that out. If you do want to start doing some trading on crypto today, you can go get a 10% bonus over on BTCC on any deposit or first-time deposit between $500 and $100,000. And again, don't forget to go follow me on Twitter at Tyler Crypto Talk. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And look, I hate to be the one who always comes on these videos and I'm just like, hey, be careful, blah, blah, blah. But you have to be. You have to be. Every influencer that you're going to see for the most part is going to come out and say, oh, this is it. The bottom is in. But what are they going to say if it falls? What are they going to say? Oh, it's manipulation. You knew it was manipulation when you told everybody the bottom was in. Everybody knows this. So let these confirmations happen. Let this market move as it's supposed to. Let us start to get more structural clarity, because then we can go in and really make our determinations of where we think this market's going to go from a more mid to macro sense. So tomorrow, again, we have CPI data. I'll make another video for you as this all does play out. But until then, I'm holding the line. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting back, waiting and watching. I'm going to allow it to play out, and we'll see how it all happens. So I hope you all have a very, very fun, safe, and cautious day. And I can't wait to see you all in the morning. Peace out, everybody.